Hello, my fellow CS colleagues, and welcome to the first installment of CS Stories with me, Sarah B. Cruz from Pre-Treat CSS, where we educate, motivate, and have a little fun onboarding into our career with professional development. I am so excited. CSS nerds on CSNation. You can do it network. Let's go. I'm stoked. So today's episode is only going to be a half hour long, and it's going to go by so fast. Sort of like when we're in our mode and we're reaching our professional goals. Before we know it, we've gotten there, right? So listen, let's bring that mentality with us and really onboard into what we're going to be working on today. I need to take a moment, because I also want to thank you guys for joining me this evening, because this is actually a really big part of my own professional development. I feel so honored to be included in yours. And when you guys are included in mine, that's when we win as a network, as an industry, as professionals. So thank you all for joining me tonight to help me reach my own professional goals and see myself through my own professional vision. I sincerely couldn't do it without you guys. And I know you hear that a lot, but seriously, I couldn't do it without you guys, right? So it's going to be really exciting. And I don't know if you guys have taken the chance to see the Knowledge and Nonsense show with the lovely Sharon Combs, but we're going to take that same nuts and bolts mentality and really use our knowledge to weed out the nonsense that is involved in professional development. So just like the beginning alludes to, you only ever see the end goal in someone's professional development. Like, what are you seeing right now? Me, here on this show. What you didn't get a chance to see is what took to get here. On some real stuff, if you guys could see Sharon now, she'd tell you about how my green screen fell down in the background, how we couldn't get the picture loaded, how the lighting couldn't get it right. I dropped one of my 4 lights on the ground, and I almost forgot my coffee. And seriously, you guys wouldn't even know any of that happened if I didn't offer that full transparency. And that may not seem like a lot, but it truly is. So when you see the people that you look up to, or not even look up to, but measure yourself to, are you measuring yourself to their professional aptitude or their professional progress? That's right, folks. There's one thing to idolize somebody and see them and really want to gauge your own success in their path, dare I say. But if we're not appreciating the steps that we take in our own professional development, we won't even be able to appreciate the end goal when we get there. What use is a milestone if we can't look at the feet or the inches that took us the whole mile? Am I right? Listen, I've never been one for math, and don't even ask me how many feet are in a mile, because I'm sure some CS nerd out there knows, though. Somebody's got to know how many feet are in a mile, but I can't tell you how many steps it's taken to get here where I am. And is this even the end goal that we want to reach? How does my professional development and the way I present my professional ambition measure to your own? That's an important aspect to take into consideration. Oh, hey, Jay. Thanks, girl. I love Joanne. And that's one huge part to take into consideration. So if you are in your chapter 1, don't compare it to my chapter 20. And, hopefully this won't even be the last chapter. Who knows? Maybe this will be another notch in my flop belt, right? Another one for the books, because, us nerds, we like to read, right? So it's going to be great. There's only one way to find out if something that we've done professionally pays off in the end, and that's offering consistency. Consistency, determination, and really a lot of persistence inside of our own moves to get there. But where do we even start, right? What vision do we have? I can't possibly imagine that my vision would mirror your vision, okay? First of all, I wear glasses, so obviously I don't see straight, okay? But puns aside, seriously, where do you see yourself professionally? How are you going to use objective-driven goals, real physical indicators of success, and actionable steps to reach where you want to go? How can we remove the word reach from your vocabulary? Because honestly, if you haven't built out stretching into your routine, if you're consistently reaching, you are going to get tired. That's why it's so important to have the objectives as we move towards our professional developments, reaching our visions, not just reaching, attaining, right? Okay, so now that that's all put aside and everybody's feeling, see, that's where we bring the motivation, right? Everybody's feeling like, yeah, I have absolutely no idea what's going on professionally. That's okay. You don't have to have any of these answers right now. But as you start to move towards your professional goals and you outline your own vision of what you deem as success, believe me, there are going to be hiccups on the way, okay? Now, I say hiccups, but really what it feels like is when you run into the little hitch on an autoclave truck. Listen, now we've all got kissed by an autoclave truck, am I right? I've got the bruises to prove it. I also have the bruises in my own professional development. Bruises, scrapes, oh my God, do I have some scars. I've got some scars in my professional development, folks, okay? But that's a big part of it. And I want to make sure that we're highlighting some of our biggest professional flops as a way to offer transparency to those who are striving to reach their own vision of success. Really, how does CSS and success look for you? And seeing the areas that we need to improve and not just pushing them in a closet and hoping they don't ever come back, or, leaving them in the drying closet too long. It's like all the flex scopes, like the 2i scope, like the 2 scopes I've cooked in an autoclave. They were both in the same load in high heat steam. Listen, folks, okay, not to mention the 8 autoclave guns I've melted. I have a pretty long list of professional flops, and those are just the physical ones. There were times when I've shown up to meetings that I didn't know started 2 hours earlier and I've missed everything. Okay? That's some real stuff right there. I literally woke up to go to a meeting to try and meet C-suite professionals in my hospital, and I missed the entire meeting. So when I went back to my car, I literally sat in my car and I cried. I was so upset. Now, if your professional ambition didn't resonate with my professional goals, you would probably be wondering, well, why are you in your car crying? First of all, I cry, and that's a very realistic thing, okay? People are allowed to emotionally have attachments to their professional ambitions, right? So at the same time, if you're not in the same space that I am with your own goals and they don't resonate with you, you couldn't understand why that happened. So that's why it's even more important for you to sit in that moment and figure out how to take those professional bruises, scrapes, flops, failures, whatever you want to call them, and apply them to our professional journey. Okay, if we are so focused on the end goal, that really pretty graphic, and we've all seen it, like the one in the beginning where it's like success and the background's pretty and look at the hands, and then there's some reason there's someone in the distance with a really pretty drink and an umbrella. Listen, that's not realistic. Okay, so just stop. Okay, don't do that to yourself. All right, so I am excited that in CS Stories, we will be discussing some of our biggest flops, and I have intentions of inviting industry professionals onto the show so we can discuss some of their professional fatigues, dare I say, and seeing how they've been able to monopolize on that and really create a professional silver lining. So if I was giving out dollars for every time I said professional tonight, listen, we'd all be rich, right? We'd probably be making more than what we make an hour. Am I right? Oh, wait, okay, okay, I'll be here all night, folks. So, but I can't stress that even more. So professional development, ambition, visions, objective, goals, failures. Just sit and listen. How does failure resonate right here, right now? What are you thinking about when I say a word like that? Where do you flash to? Alessandra, screw caddy drops for a case that was going, hey, oh, you got it. Oh my God, was it like a Synthes one where you have to line? Oh my God, no. So really, where does that resonate with you? And I know I use these kind of woo-woo words where it's like resonate and feel and personify, but seriously, we have to really take these unquantifiable parts of ourselves and build out actionable, quantifiable goals to achieve them. Right? So as we round the middle mark of the show, I cannot believe it. See, I told you guys it was going to go by really fast. After our short commercial break, we are going to discuss one of my most recent flops, just to really break the ice. Forget breaking the ice. Let's shatter it. All right. And feel free to chime in and ask questions as we go. You know, I'm an open book, but remember, I'm an open book. Okay. Thanks, guys. All right. I told you guys this time was going to go by really fast. And just to speak on our little commercial and sponsor break there, if you guys haven't hit the reminder bell on the Knowledge or Nonsense platform where all us CSS nerds and CS nations hang out, hit it, okay? Hit that reminder bell on YouTube. Follow their Facebook channel because, you know, the network really serves a lot of information. I already mentioned Knowledge and Nonsense. Knowledge and Nonsense is the best, okay? Sharon really puts it out there, right? She weeds through and vets through what is knowledge and what is nonsense, really challenging the things that we have always done, right? Because that's how we move as an industry. And then we have the awesome show by Sharon Greengold, View from my window, not my window, Sharon's window. And I love that show because she legit just sits there and takes questions all day. She has her topic point and her moving lines, but oh my God, rapid fire. You got a question about management. You got a question about PPE, why you should change your clothes after you smoke a cigarette. Sharon's on it with all of her amazing experience and off the cuff knowledge. Listen, you're going to leave with something and it's not going to be any nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So thanks again for joining me today. And don't forget, you can always subscribe to pretreatcss.com's newsletter if you're interested in receiving educational and motivational ways to onboard into your career. I send it weekly and I promise no spamming, right? Unless you send it there. And then that's not cool. All right. So moving into the second half of our show, I want to touch a little bit about this flexible scope that I cooked. Well, the two flexible scopes that I cooked. Okay. So just a background on that story. I was in my second facility. I didn't have too many years of hands-on experience inside of a full-size facility. When I started my profession, when I started my career in, oh, thanks, Jake. When I started my career in Central Sterile Services, I was actually in the veterinary field. I would turn over OR rooms for a neurosurgeon, Dr. James Hammond. He's phenomenal and one of my first mentors. And he really laid down some knowledge that moved me in such a way to help me get to where I am today. And I realized that while I was turning and flashing, because that was the word at the time, flashing his favorite upbite Kirsten Ronger, that I could go to school for this. That this was something that I could do one night a week for 3 months, and it literally changed my life. So here I am, like full of hope and everything, like, oh, I'm going to change the world in my second facility, and boom, cooked 2 scopes. All right. It was a super high pressure day. I was in my own glory that I don't need anybody to help me. I can do this on myself. Like my head was this big, like, okay. So just to set the stage. So I turned those scopes over and they were ready in enough time, but yeah, they were a little melty, to say the least. Let's just drink a little tea with all that shade I'm throwing on myself, right? No sunblock needed in this shade. Anyways, I digress. So my manager at the time called me to the office and he was like, Sarah, I really need you to understand something. And I was like, okay. Because this guy never called anybody to his office unless he was going to talk to you. So you're just like, okay. And I had shorter hair at the time, so probably like this. Yeah, that was about it. He's like, those 2 scopes cost more than what you're going to make in a year. And I sat there staring at him. Because what do you say to that? You know, he said, Sarah, I understand you started less than 6 months ago. You are trying to figure it out. You don't have a lot of previous experience in a full-size facility like this. This is all paraphrasing, of course. And he was so quiet. But those 2 scopes are going to cost you more than what you make this year. I cried. See, now I already said I was a crier though, right? So I cried. I excused myself from the office. I went into the hallway and I cried. And I was so upset with myself and I was so disappointed in my own nepotism and egotist. Like ego was just so much in the way. And if I had just stopped for a moment, it would have been different, you know. And that was probably one of my first biggest flops. So that was we're going to use notch in the bedpost or a hole in the bell or bruise on the shin from the autoclave truck, whatever you guys want to call it. That was the first one of many. And it was tough. And, you know, Alessandra's right. It was just a mistake. I didn't mean to do it. Nobody goes to work wanting to make mistakes. I don't believe that everybody operates in this, how do you say, conscious disregard. I like to think that unconscious decisions happen based on the idea of how much education that's in place at the time. Whereas if you give someone the opportunity to truly understand why something should be different, they'd make the choice to move towards that action. But how do you teach somebody to understand the difference in what had happened and how to move? Because when you come out of these situations, what's the advice that's given? Well, I just need you to do it differently next time. What does that even mean? Right? So how did we take this moment and add it for professional fortitude and really challenge my own professional foundation? I made that mistake because of my ego. I was involved in a turnover process. I truly believed I understood what was going on. And I had a ton of industry professionals around me in my department. I chose not to ask them. I questioned whether or not those went in the steam autoclave. Now, I put the right indicator inside of the set and I used the right tape. But I didn't take the moment to pause and make sure that I was utilizing all the resources around me because I was operating for me, not the patient. That's some heavy stuff to just really start to think about when you cook flexible scopes. Am I right? But if we don't challenge ourselves to find a way to move our errors into silver lining and really fill in the cracks of our professional foundation, they just stay mistakes. And we are doomed to repeat them unless we learn from them. I have not cooked a flexible scope in a steam sterilizer, unless it was clear to do so. And I definitely used the right indicator since then. Now, the sticker guns probably took a little bit longer because I definitely cooked like 8 of them. Seriously, 8. So I think I've cooked 2 in every facility I've ever been in, including the veterinary facility. So, that one, I clearly haven't learned from that mistake yet, right? So calling out some of our professional flops, bruises, scrapes, fumbles, epic fails, and applying it really helps us move in a way to change what we're lurking towards. Now, fast forward to one of my more recent professional flops. I had worked with an individual underneath my own recommendation, and she was not performing, and it was really boding poorly on me. And that's a totally different level than a flexible scope, right? Sure, asking questions, and thank you, Jay. Asking questions are crucial in development. How do you move in a way to develop professionally in situations you've never been in? It's always easy to pause and look back and be reactive and really start to think of different ways to handle things. But how do you proactively move in that moment? So in this situation where I was working with someone who was hired under my own recommendation and they were not performing, and it was really not boding well on me. It was really bad. It was embarrassing. That's a whole different level of professional development. Am I right? That's way more than a flexible scope. That's totally based on soft skill development, something that we don't address in our industry. So needless to say, the situation worked itself out just because, sat down and I talked to them because we were friends. But there were moments and times where I completely regretted doing that. I couldn't believe that this was happening. And it was such a bummer. All the work that I had put in was just not shining favorably upon me. So now I'm reacting to that. So how do we transition from reacting to proactively moving in professional development? See, knowledge and nonsense showing up right on the screen. Proactively moving in professional development is vital because we're making educated and sound decisions based on our vision. So the how in that is really picking out our end goal. I know I started the whole thing with saying, hey, don't focus on the end goal, appreciate what's going on, but you don't even know which way to go unless you put an end point. Am I right? Google Maps can't direct us if we don't put where we want to end up. All right. So how do you be your CSS Google Maps? All right. So the first step in proactively moving in your professional development is creating your vision. Yeah, see, there's that woo-woo word again, right? Because, visions without goals are just wishes. And that's that. So if you see something, I wish, and you reach and you use words, wish, reach, hope, want. Hope is not a strategy. Okay, so proactivity takes picking an end goal and then making educated, sound decisions that move you towards that direction. If you're just moving in day-to-day operations and not really having a point to anything or real intentions, you're not moving proactively in your professional development. You are moving professionally. You are doing your job. Your hard skill applications. But when you start to mix your hard skill applications with your soft skill development and move towards vision with objective driven goals and all the flops that come along with it, that's proactivity. You are choosing to do these things because you believe it will reach your goal. So, what have you chosen for yourself today professionally? That's right, folks. You got to do this every single day. Yeah, hope is not a strategy. That's right. It's not. So what did you guys choose today to do professionally? And sometimes there's smaller goals that we can set for ourselves. Like I'm going to choose to not be annoyed by anyone today. I can't even say that small. That's a pretty big goal because, I know some departments are super trying. Okay. And not to mention anything you do outside of work, right? But even just little things like that. If you professionally choose to put your scrub top on before you put your scrub pants on when you get dressed and you've done that, great. You've achieved the goal today. And I think that's super exciting. So now that you're testing the water, you put your scrub top on first before your scrub pants. What are some hard-hitting decisions that you're going to make towards your professional development today? How are you going to make hope not a strategy? What are some objectives that you'll set for your goals to reach your vision? And what physical indicators will you use to denote that you are in the right direction? I don't have anything against to-do lists, but if the only reason why you have a to-do list is to check off those little boxes, you are missing the point. Okay? Failures are a really big part in that. Failures are not on to-do lists. Flops are never part of our objectives, but flops happen when we move proactively in our professional development. All right, everybody, stay tuned. We got a commercial break coming up, and we'll round out the half hour together. I'm excited. See you soon. I cannot wait to go to the scrub ball. Your girl got her ticket. Hey. So I really like that the bear's name is Scrub B Bear because I am Sarah B. Cruz. So I am definitely getting the first dance with Scrub B Bear. It's going to be great. But yeah, no, your girl is going to be in Dallas. I got to bring my sunblock because it's only like 70 degrees here and I'm dying and, I'm super pale. So pack your sunblocks, bring your scrubs, bring your professional integrity, and let's go and have a good time, okay? Don't forget to visit the link below to check out Scrub Ball and how you can attend too, okay? So rounding out the show, I think it's going to be really great. At this point in time, it is only going to happen once a month. I know, right? That's way too little. But listen, I got to make sure I have enough room to pull people that are interested. That's right. Pull people that are interested. All right. Looking at you guys. I think it's going to be really important that we pull industry professionals to discuss some of their biggest flops and really change the tone on discussing stumbles and epic fails. I want to take these discouraging conversations and turn them into a type of conversation that makes for professional change. Okay. And the only way to do that is to openly admit them and then show how you applied them later to do something differently. What was your flexible scope? What was your poor hire recommendation? What was your sticker gun? And how did you take that and turn it into something that really led you to success? The CSS in your success. Yeah. So if you're interested in being a guest on the CS Stories and sharing amazing moments like yours truly did this evening. Oh yeah, I know it was Cynthia's. If you're interested in sharing some of those stories like yours truly tonight, please don't hesitate. You can email me at sbwcruz@pretreatcss.com. All the information is available at the end of the show, and I am on all the social medias, okay? Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. And if you don't have a LinkedIn yet, get a LinkedIn, folks. Your industry is waiting to hear the tone of your voice, all right? Add to the hum of our industry. And TikTok, yeah, your girl, dancing the Cardi B in my PPEs. Hey, no. Anyways, I can't wait to hear from everybody, and I can't wait to get this going more than once a month. And I want it to be so saturated that everybody wants to hang out. Until then, don't forget, you're the real MVPs, and bye.